what government resources there are to help your company and you compete globally. I think what we've seen to this point is we've seen a number of opportunities. In fact, we've seen the opportunities that are available to us in Taiwan. We've seen there are many projects that are going on. There are many technologies that are exciting and fascinating for us to learn about. We've noted that Indiana and with our partnership with Taiwan and the investment that Steve Akerd talked about, and how we have a long and profitable relationship with that country, and how Indiana has sought investment into or from those markets. And so my job is to turn it around and say, okay, you as an Indiana company, what can you do and what can we do as the federal government to help you do business globally and to somehow sell what you make into these markets. And so that's my objective, hopefully, this morning, if I get this to turn. The mission of the U.S. Department of Commerce, we're a government agency. I'm part of a bigger agency at the Commerce Department in Washington. Our mission is to promote the exportation of goods and services from the U.S. We represent U.S. businesses internationally, and we help U.S. businesses find partners. So that, in a nutshell, is our objective. We have an American Institute in Taiwan that helps us there. These are typical things that you may have seen before, not to augment, or I tried not to say things that had already been said. I was trying to anticipate. There are a number of things that people will already say before I get here, so my objective was not to restate the obvious. But so we'd like to say that Indiana ranks about 14th in the nation. We exported around $26 billion, and even in a down economy, we note that Indiana's exports were up in 2008. Why does this matter? Why it matters is because, and I think the message that I would like to frankly leave you with is that small businesses make a difference, that small businesses make an impact, that you can do this. I think the whole message, if I have a small one today, is that you can go global. Your company can do it. Taiwan is a market that is attractive to Indiana businesses and to U.S. firms, and you should consider it. Many times the thing that I tell people all the time is, in fact, that fear is an issue. We're here to try to take away some of that fear today. You can do it. Small businesses do export. 5,400 or so exported goods from Indiana in 2006. That was the last data that we had. The message is that the dynamic growth is in small companies, firms with fewer than 20 employees. So it doesn't take a company the size of IBM, the company the size even of Eli Lilly, even though they're a great partner here in the state, or Cummins, or any big name that you have heard of, to do this. And so that is actually my mandate, to go about Indiana and tell folks that it is important for you to consider global markets. We can look here and see, in fact, that exports support 12 million U.S. jobs, and that exporting companies pay more money, that they are 7.3% of Indiana's private sector employment, and 1 in 5 Indiana manufacturing jobs are supported by exports. So we already do these things. You're already a part of it. You may not even have known it, of what role Indiana plays. But in fact, we do have a role in exporting, and we do have a role in the global economy. These are our top sectors. What we do export. We export transportation equipment, chemicals, machinery, and we've seen some of the statistics that we export to Taiwan earlier. So you can see this is how the macro environment for Indiana looks. But I'm here to tell people, they see this chart, and I've shown it, many of you I've known for years, and many people have seen these charts and say, well, I don't do any of those things. Well, that doesn't matter. You export or you sell one specific thing, and there are many products that are not listed in the macro that frankly can be exported by your company. We cover the entire state. Our objective is to help you, no matter where you are in Indiana, to do business globally. So I have 3 people that work for me. One handles the northern, Steve. Ava handles the center, and Dushan, my colleague, handles southern Indiana. We're a small office, but we travel the road. We go out and actually see you, knock on doors. I've been all over Indiana, frankly, for many years now, seeing people in very little towns and also good-sized cities, really basically explaining to them that there are opportunities in the global market. What I like to tell people all the time, and frankly, many of you may have heard me say these type of things before. I've met with companies, even this week, who were concerned about exporting and what could they do to sell their products. I'm here to tell you, if you are not selling your products into global markets, other folks are not afraid to sell their products in the United States. And so we tell this to people all the time. This is a global economy. The genie is out of the bottle. No matter what you think, times have changed, and we must compete globally. And that's part of what this dialogue is here today, to show opportunities that Taiwan has, and Indiana has, and the United States, frankly, has to do business internationally, because we're all in business now. Every company is impacted by the global economy. And it's our job, and it's my job as a U.S. government representative, to tell you that there are opportunities available for you, and you can compete and win and do business in many markets in all of Asia, Taiwan, and everywhere else, because there are so many players and there are so many opportunities available to you. So, I thought I would give you just, I don't want to belabor anything, but I thought I would give you, frankly, a small snippet of one of our websites. It's buyusa.gov. We have a Taiwan section on the web, and it talks about all the things our American Institute in Taiwan does for American companies to help them in the Taiwanese market. I took a screenshot, frankly, of just one of the pages, and this is the Government Procurement Office, Taiwan GPA opportunities for U.S. exporters, and this talks about new opportunities to sell to the government of Taiwan. We also have a Taiwanese country commercial guide. MBA students call me from all over the state, frankly asking me, what can I do to learn about this market? And so this is your, at least a quick and easy guide, and of course our colleagues from Taiwan have brought us a lot of material. But if you're wanting to know a country commercial guide from the U.S. perspective, what are top sectors? This is something I'm asked all the time. I think we've seen some of those in the earlier presentations. But what should I be trying to sell in this market? We give you these type of things. We talk about how we help U.S. companies in the market. We talk about, in our website, doing business in Taiwan, giving you tips there. Of course, my colleagues from Taiwan, the trade office, do similar things as well, and they will tell you exactly those same things. Events and activities that we have in the market. We take trade missions, we have catalog shows, and we have a number of activities that take you to these markets. And that's what I think that we need to make sure that everyone knows, that the world is accessible and Taiwan is accessible, and you can go there and you can get there, and we provide opportunities to help you do that. So this is one of our websites, buyusa.gov, and if you go /Taiwan, you'll see these are opportunities available, and you can avail yourself of information on the Taiwanese market. So what is it that I do? And what I do on a daily basis, and what we do all the time, is to assist in developing an export strategy, because this is my charter today to say, what can we do as a U.S. government? You do know that we say we are the U.S. government and here to help you, and everybody all starts laughing as soon as we say that, of course. But we are really here to help you. We do hopefully have a role, and we do feel that we can be a benefit by helping you, assisting you in developing an export strategy, locating markets for your products, and interfacing with you, in this case with Taiwan. When we look and you say, Mark, this is great, I've learned so much about this wonderful market, wonderful people, wonderful opportunities, the technology is abundant, what do I do to get there? Well, what can I do to sell something there? What can I do to be a part of the opportunities, frankly, that are in Asia? Asia is a growing market for all of the U.S. goods, and so we look at Taiwan and we say, okay, Mark, I'm all excited about the opportunity. My job is to help you find out how can your product sell into this market. So this is some of the things we do. We help you find partners. We have services that help you do that, what I'll quickly go over. We recommend financing options. We help with payments. We help with regulatory and market entry hurdles, if there are licensing issues, if there are issues with the Bureau of Industry and Security with an export license or ITAR, or if there's a medical licensing issue. Our folks at the American Institute in Taiwan, and of course our colleagues at the Taiwanese government, can assist you in finding what does it take, if there is any kind of regulatory hurdle, to get my product in market. And frankly, I think this is a valuable service. We try to make sure that your product has an easy launch pad, frankly, to get into that market and say, what's it going to take? Is there any kind of regulatory barrier? We help you try to overcome those. So these are market entry issues that we try to assist you in. We also do things before you get there. And we also, when you're in the preparatory stage, in the planning stage, our job is to help you find out what is it going to take to get me into this market. The U.S. government, believe it or not, we have all kinds of market research that is available to you. This is free of charge. We tell everybody all the time. We have a market research library online which has basically sectoral studies on how to do business in these markets, in industry sectors. We have sectors like automotive and medical and computers and I'm just trying to, environmental. There's a plethora of options and resources available to you as a U.S. Taxpayer, which is important. As a U.S. taxpayer, you can avail yourselves and you say, Mark, I would like to know, and of course we have great resources out there that I saw on the table as I came in, but I would like to know online, what can I do to actually find out about the automotive sector, or about the IT sector, or the medical sector. We have many reports written on these type of things that can help you do this. We have country commercial guides, which are basically guides, as I said, I think I mentioned earlier, a guide to doing business in general in those markets. So these are good launching pads and good market research tools to allow you to access these markets without leaving your desk. And that's part of our objective as well, to make sure that you are educated, that you are aware, that you have knowledge of what actual opportunities are available to you. We have customized market research available that our embassies across the globe and the American Institute in Taiwan can prepare for you, which is, you say, and I've been asked this over the years many times, well, Mark, I understand you have the macro sectoral studies that can help us, but what can you do to help my little widget, my little product, my little industry? Because obviously sometimes those macro studies are not as useful. We actually have customized market research that you can commission so that you can exactly know what it takes to sell my widget, my product, specifically in the Taiwanese market. So this customized market research leverages our network of industry associations, governmental agencies, and et cetera, to help you find out this type of information across the globe. In Taiwan, in Argentina, in Zimbabwe, we have these resources available for you. Our Gold Key service is a matchmaking tool. This helps folks find agents and distributors, partners on the ground. It's our most popular program, our most popular tool, U.S. government resource for you as an Indiana company and as a U.S. company to help you find a partner on the ground in that market. Of course, I always tell people to avail yourselves of the resources of our state colleagues because they have folks on the ground in the market, and you should use those resources as well. So, and our folks from the Taiwan Economics Ministry also have resources to help you do these things. But these are things that the U.S. government does for U.S. firms to help you find a partner. Because typically, I'm asked all the time, well, great, I see this opportunity. Who's going to sell it for me? Who's going to represent me? Who am I going to get to be a partner? This is something the American Institute in Taiwan can arrange for you on the ground, pre-screened, pre-qualified meetings with folks who can help you do business in the market that understand, frankly, what it takes to be successful. Our American Institute in Taiwan can help you with travel, accommodations, interpreter services, and clerical support to make sure that the tack you take and the meetings that you arrange or we arrange for you can be successful. And it's been a very positive thing. We have other tools. These are about government resources. We have a magazine called Commercial News USA that goes out to every embassy all over the world and the American Institute in Taiwan that lists products and services distributed free to more than 400,000 buyers from around the world. And this magazine, especially for consumer type goods, helps folks get the word out. I liken it, frankly, to somewhat of putting a pole in the water, as my grandfather used to say. Fishing, you're taking a little fishing and looking at the opportunities that are available in a number of markets all at once for a very nominal fee. And we have a website. You can look at this commercial news for more information. But it's another tool. Many times, frankly, folks are not aware that there are actual government resources to help you on the ground, and also more of what I call a reactive approach, which is to use these tools like a magazine to advertise in, to check on the interest in your products. So we have, as I alluded earlier, and I think I've stated probably enough times by now, we have U.S. embassies worldwide. People ask me all the time, well, I understand the embassy, but what do you do? Well, what I do is I am your liaison. I connect you to embassies and to the American Institute in Taiwan. I'm your connection there locally that can help you as an Indiana business person to access many of these markets. Our embassy network includes 160 international offices in 82 countries. We're in 96% of the world's export markets. We're probably in more than that by now. From Argentina to Zimbabwe. So we go to A to Z. I don't know. I was trying to make sure I had hit the covered from A to Z. So that's what we try to do. From all those markets, we try to assist you there. So you might as well avail yourself of this. And people tell me all the time, well, Mark, I didn't even know this was in existence. And that's part of our job, is to let you know there are resources as a U.S. business person that you can avail yourself of. You know, years ago, I was in Russia, and when I was a younger man than I am now and darker haired, we took some trade missions that were medical to Russia, Novosibirsk, and some places way up in Siberia, which was pretty amazing. I'd never been up in that part of the world, and it was fairly amazing at the time. And I was so excited to be, because I'm thinking, I'm in Siberia. This is pretty cool. And I'm thinking the U.S. Delegates, they're going to be really excited because they're here, they're in this market. Nobody is going to be up here, but us. We're going to have really we're going to be the best thing since sliced bread for these folks. You know, they're going to be so excited. And so it was a great shock to me at the time to realize I went down the hall. This is up close to Siberia, so, it's not like it's like down to Kmart. And so we're up here, and just down the hall is actually a Taiwanese delegation at the same time, doing the exact same thing that we are doing in the exact same market. And it just was hilarious to me, because it just goes to show you it's a global market. Everybody is there. Our preconceived ideas of, oh, well, nobody's over here, I'm the only person going, is not true anymore. And I actually went down and ate the Taiwanese food, which was much better than the U.S. government food that we had. So I went down to their booth, and it was great. I love their food, and I was so happy that they put on a much better spread, and so I was down there noshing away. And I remember, that was a great lesson for me, and maybe a lesson for you. The more we think that we are just here by ourselves doing business, the more we realize that it's a global economy. Everybody's out there, and we all have to put forth our best efforts. We have a nationwide network of folks that help you, not just in Indiana, that's where I am, but this is where we are across the United States. We have folks just like me that do this in every state of the union. And we're called trade specialists. We're in 105 export assistance centers across the United States. Guys just like me, colleagues that you have just like you in other states, we have those folks to help you no matter where you are. So many times people ask me, well, yeah, this sounds like good. You government bureaucrat guys, you all say the same thing, which I've heard many times. Yeah, I've heard this story before. But really, there are a number of Indiana success stories. We have companies in northern Indiana, which is way up north, called Lady, who make huge bulk grain silo systems, which we have assisted, and we've helped them enter the European market. They had some regulatory issues, and we assisted them in getting into the European market, and talked to my colleagues there and made sure their CE mark paperwork and et cetera was sufficient. Also helped them find some partners in that market. In Lafayette, I work with Cook Biotech, who do some crazy stuff with patches and skin cells and using pig parts to stitch things up, and it's really complicated, and I didn't quite understand all of it, but it was a great thing that we helped them with the surgical patches and meshes used to repair or replace damaged tissue. We helped them in a number of countries all over the world. Down at the other end of the state, we helped Escalade, which is Escalade Sports. They make ping pong tables and things that are a lot easier to understand for me, ping pong tables, basketball goals, and things like that. And they do all those things, and we help them enter markets in Latin America and Mexico. We help them find a distributor in that market, help them enter a big grocery chain. I mean, this is real live Indiana companies. We help those folks do business globally, and we want to help you. That is the message. I can mention Indiana companies that sell paper-mache dog and cat heads. Yes, they do, believe it or not. Or the guy that makes custom wood eyewear that's eco-friendly, that sells it in Europe, that's featured in magazines like Vogue and Cosmopolitan and Glamour and Elle, all the ones I read. Yeah, I had to look up there. You notice I was looking back to make sure. Yes, all of those. Or the guy that sells NASCAR simulators, which I had not any idea what that exactly was till I learned about it. He sold those into Germany. Or the lady who sells fondant, which is now called cake icing. I didn't know what fondant was, actually. I don't watch the Food Network much. But I do now, because this lady who sold fondant to Canada and the UK and was featured on the Food Network. These are all Indiana companies that succeeded. And I guess the story and what I'm trying to tell you is whether your product would be considered complex or complicated or tough, yeah, you can sell that. Or your product is simple, something like eyeglasses or fondant. Yeah, you can sell that too. So that is the message, that it doesn't matter what it is. It's where you see and where we see today opportunity. And we've seen today the many opportunities that Taiwan offers to Indiana companies. And so we are here and I'm here to try to help you be a part of that market. If you'd like to contact us, this is my phone, my web address, our website. We have those that are ubiquitous now. We're in the government, so we have many websites. So we're excited about that. And we're glad to be here with you today. I want to say thank you so much to Weston for inviting me here and my colleagues. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have. And I want to say that thank you very much for the opportunity.